Tottenham Hotspur are in uncertainty.
Hotspur?
2 days after Antonio Conte openly slammed his relationship with the team.
I see selfish players. I see players that don't want to help each other, don't put the heart.
It's been an ominously serene 48 hours at the club's training complex in Enfield, North London. The players were all granted the day off on Sunday and Monday, as is customary at the commencement of an international break, and Conte has returned to Italy, where he usually goes at the opening of one of these periods. But behind the scenes, Daniel Levy and Fabio Paratici, Conte's last remaining ally at the club, are left debating the unavoidable issue posed by Conte's remarks on Saturday evening, whether it is time to fire him and finish the season with someone else in charge. Conte's press conference at St Mary's Stadium following Spurs' 3-3 away draw with Southampton felt like he had made his future as Spurs manager completely untenable. He had just publicly humiliated his players in a manner unparalleled in modern sport. He had shattered any chance of a strong end to the season, which means a 4th overall placing and subsequent Champions League spot for the next year. With this and the subsequent trailing of the club's name through the dirt, he has made it extremely difficult for Chairman Levy to keep him on. However, there has been no indication of the club announcement remark that many Tottenham supporters were expecting yesterday, and there's no trace of it on Monday morning. Conte is still the head coach. He could not have made it clearer that he does not believe he has a chance of motivating the players in the closing stretch of the season to accomplish the only objective available to them. Despite recent failures in domestic and international competitions, Tottenham still has something to compete for in their final 10 league games. Given how important Champions League qualifying is to the team, wouldn't they want to do everything they could to keep it? However, just because Conte made it through Sunday and Monday does not imply that his position is secure. Spurs have a history of revealing managers' departures on Monday mornings following a tough weekend. Nuno, Mourinho and Boaz were all fired at the start of the working week. The latest of those three, Boaz, was announced by 11:03 AM on that particular Monday. Given this, many thought that Conte might be safe now that he's made it past the midday mark on Monday. However, all three of those dismissals occurred during a regular period of the season, when games arrived thick and fast. When Mourinho was fired, Spurs had a league game against Southampton at home on Wednesday and a Carabao Cup final against Manchester City at the weekend to prepare for. Ryan Mason, the interim coach, did not waste any time in prepping the players for the final few critical games. This is unique. Spurs' next encounter is still 2 weeks away on Monday, April 3rd, when they travel to Everton. There is still plenty of time for Levy and Paratici to determine whether Conte can remain or not. And keep in mind that Levy's decision to fire Mauricio Pochettino and replace him with Jose Mourinho was not made public until the Tuesday of the second week of an international break, 10 days after the Argentinian's final game in command. Given how few members of the first team squad are practicing this week, the management is under less pressure to make a choice soon. They won't start returning to Hotspur Way until the beginning of next week. If Conte remains, he will have to confront the men he shoved under the bus on Saturday. His remarks have gone down as poorly as anyone could anticipate among the players.
Yeah, I prefer to kill him.
Putting a stop to any speculation he's lost the locker room. If Levy chooses to do what he did 2 years ago and pass over the reins to associate coach Mason for the remainder of the season, the key is to give him the majority of next week with the entire squad, rather than this week with a handful of players who will be present. And if Levy believes that the moment has come to end the Conte era and move forward with Mason, there is always the option of terminating the Italian's deal. He has just over 3 months remaining on the contract he signed when he was named in November 2021, which entitles him to around £4 million if he is fired. Even though it's been silent since Saturday evening, things could proceed quickly from here. The game remains in Levy's court.